In this episode of Growing Your Sense of Self Through Self-Defense, we're going to work on backfalls. It's probably the fall that is most damaging to people. It's scary because it's a blind fall. You don't have eyes in the back of your head, and you don't have easy ways to protect yourself. At least people generally don't think of those, and you get whiplash and you bang the back of your head. So there's ways of falling backwards that can reduce the risk of injury. That's what always the goal is, reduce the risk of being injured in a fall. So if you remember when he talked about the face fall, the same sort of principles, do apply. It's dispersing the impact out over time and space. A little bit harder to do on a back fall than it is on a face fall, but you still can do some. So we're just going to do low back falls today, starting sort of in a little crunch down and just sort of falling back, rolling back. So I'm going to adjust the camera for that. Now when falling backwards from any kind of height, standing or so, you want to reach back with your hands and start to make contact with your hands and start to receive the ground. Again, spreading out the impact over time and space. When we're going to do it from a low, already almost on the ground position, to get used to being blind as you're falling. You can't see the ground approaching you when you're falling backwards. And it's just kind of a scary thing even from down low. We're going to keep our hands out of the way. And the reason for that is we're trying to learn how the back is to roll or land on the ground from down low when it's not going to get hurt. So there still is a roll that disperses the time and space of the impact on the back. And the goal would be to end up high on the back where there's more muscles farther away from the spine, because the muscles can protect the spine. That's where you end up being. You keep your head in, tucking your chin down to avoid the whiplash or whacking your head on the ground, back of your head on the ground. So when we do these low ones, we're just going to start low and sort of sit and roll back and catch ourselves, keeping our chin down, our knees apart. If they're together, they might come down and if you're flexible enough, pop you in the face, especially if you're falling from a height. So let's do that again. Lower yourself, keep your hands in, and catch yourself. 45 degrees, my arms from my body. Right? My arms aren't out here, and they're not right up against. So imagine if I was falling from a height, trying to catch myself out this way. It's not easy to reach the ground and take the impact to disperse it, as it is 45 degrees the optimal angle. So let me spin around and do it from this side. Lower, 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 lower. Roll. Here. Now, from any kind of a height, your chest will compress. You land up on the upper part of your back, not across the middle of the spine, not on your tailbone. If you land short, you land down hard on that, that's a nasty fall. Landing right on that bone is pretty close to the surface. So dropping straight down, not so cool. So roll yourself out, end up high on your back, have your legs soft. That's taking impact. That's also your springs, your shock absorber, when those knees can come down like that. But keep them apart so they don't come down and hit you in the face if they're together. That is a low back fall. We'll be raising that up over time. Kamsahamnida. Thank you for your time. Toodles.